Hello, everybody. This is Barbara. I am delighted to be with you tonight because we are facing, as a species, deep self-evolution. This is not just a course. Every single human being is facing it in their own way, and every single person is being invited to go deeper into their goodness, their kindness, their greatness, and less in their superficiality, meanness, and criticality. So that goes for me, that goes for absolutely every single person that we have on this call. Hey, welcome, absolutely everybody. This is such a wonderful journey that we're going to be on. And I want to set the stage for the journey. It's pretty obvious that this is a journey that humanity's on, not just us on this call. And what journey is humanity on? And why would deep self-evolution be important for humanity on this journey? Well, the first thing we see that this is a most critical moment in the entire evolutionary story, from the Big Bang to us, knew that they lived during a crisis time on Earth that could lead to devolution and even extinction of our species, or evolution toward an unknown future. And the thing that I realized the other day, it's a shift point. It's not a big plateau upon which you can make a decision. It's a shift point. And I experienced, and I'm going to tell you the story of what happened last night that some of you were on. The shift point is a point. It's not a plateau. It's not a base. It's not a place to contemplate, well, maybe I'll do it. I don't like this. I don't like that. It's not that point. It's a point where you're either going down or you're going forward, and you can't be both at the same time. And it's not a plateau. It's boom or boom. That's what I realized the other night. So deep self-evolution, let's set our context, is coming in on the shift point of evolution itself. If you think of if you could, Jim, put on the evolutionary spiral and wheel for me, please, so people can see the visual. Because I think that for me, this visual gives us, yeah, thank you, something of the nature of the shift point. And so it starts obviously at the origin of creation before even the Big Bang, which is the mystery of all mysteries. And then we see this impulse of evolution for billions of years, and it's going through the heart of the hub of the wheel of this turn on the spiral. And the deep self, where we're going to be accessing the impulse of evolution in this course, is found at the heart of the hub of the wheel. And it comes through not just simply as your own personal vocation or your own personal mission. It comes through as your expression of the mission of the whole system shift. Wherever you are expressing in your little personality and your little upsets and your little upgrades and downgrades. The whole story is in you. The whole story is in me. The whole story is in everybody on this class. And so entering into deep self-evolution at the point of criticality of a devolution of the species or an evolution where all of these things start to be connected, which is a burst of something we've never seen before. We've never seen before ourselves united and joined as a living system. And yet, if evolution got from single cell to multi-cell to animal to human, it probably has the potentiality, even though difficult and separate and nasty as we are to each other, we still are part of a living system. And we're probably no worse than all those single cells that made it through from Earth to life, to animal life, to human life. But they're not taking a deep self-evolution course. We are. And so the first thing I want to make clear is that because of the timing on the planet, those of you who choose to go to deep self evolution are entering a mighty purpose for yourself and for planet Earth. How many people out of the billions here on Earth does it take to make a shift from separation to co-creation? How many of us does it take? I don't know. But I'm assuming there's enough of us here right now that if we were in what we're calling omni-love, which is the impulse of evolution coming through each of us, if we were able to imbue ourselves and feel the omni-love, it would help us join together to be a greater whole system. And so the deep self-evolution, I would like everybody on the course to be aware that this is happening at the point of devolution or evolution, not only for you personally, but for our species. And each one of us at a shift point, how we are experiencing our reality moves the system downward toward devolution or upward toward evolution. In other words, we all have an immediate, effective impact. So I want to start out by telling you what happened to me yesterday and now what is continuing to happen to me today because of deep self evolution. If you were on the call at the fireside chat, welcome to hold the space for all of us again. So here is what happened yesterday, or day before yesterday. I was taking a walk in a very snowy, beautiful day, and I asked God a question. And the question was, God, what does it feel like to be a universal human? What does it feel like to be a new human? What does it feel like to be an evolutionary human with deep self-evolution happening to us? Now that we live at the point of devolution or evolution in everybody's own life, collectively and individually. So as I ask God, what does it feel like to be actually incarnating the impulse? So God, what does it feel like to be a universal human, a new human, an evolutionary human, an evolving human? And let's take this for everybody here who must be that, or you would not be in a deep self-evolutionary course. And here is what I got. The first thing I got was radical forgiveness. Radical forgiveness. Radical means at the root. That no matter what it was for you personally that ever may have hurt you, that you feel you need to forgive, just do it. All you need to do is say yes. You know why? Because the impulse of evolution will do it if you say yes. Don't hang on to anything that's holding you back. Do not hang on to the fact of my father didn't love me or my mother didn't care for me. Gone. That's the first step. Radical forgiveness from your personal life to the society, to the things that the various cultures did to each other and are doing right now. Underneath it all is this human impulse that by some reason of our species got, I would say, faulted into the illusion of separation, got way off track with feeling separate culturally, spiritually, socially, and personally. Radical forgiveness. And so I was walking along shouting, I forgive my father, I forgive this, I forgive my brother, I forgive that, I forgive this person who hurt me over here, I forgive. And actually I felt this huge thing lifting off my soul. Huge, big, lift off. And so I walked along, and I felt that I had more or less done radical forgiveness. And then I said, God, what else is there? And it was radical gratitude. All right. Radical means the root. So you start, of course, the fact that you're alive, you have a body, you have 50 trillion cells all operating, you have all of that. But radical gratitude, I began to be grateful for the fact of there being a human species. And then I was grateful for all that it took to get the human species. And then I was grateful for planet Earth. And then I saw planet Earth was just one planet among billions. And then I was grateful for all the billions that were there. And the billions of galaxies are there. So I had to stretch this gratitude. Because if any one of them wasn't there, the whole system evidently would not be able to be in balance. So just join with me for a moment to feel in your own life radical forgiveness and radical gratitude. See, if anybody that you need to forgive, let it go. This is a part of deep self-evolution. This really is deep self-evolution. Let it go, folks. Do you know how many of us are carrying the burden of we didn't like our parents? I mean, and they did their best, poor folks, but they weren't the best that could have been for us. Radical forgiveness. You can have a sense of humor about the things you're not forgiving. Just let it go, folks. Wow. Then try really to feel radical gratitude. Love in your heart. Just, not only just love because you like somebody, but gratitude for the existence, first of all, of the whole planet and the human species and all life on it and the billions of galaxies and your consciousness down. Now, one of the purposes of deep self-evolution is that we are going to incarnate the impulse of evolution ourselves. You may have seen this. It's very beautiful the way this was written here, that the deep self-evolution become a unique embodiment of the evolutionary impulse, giving you access to the whole self-organizing power of the universe and aligning you with its desire. Wow. If we're experiencing radical forgiveness and radical gratitude, I think what happens is we become embodiments of that impulse that is in every one of us, but is blocked when we are not forgiving or when we are angry or when we are not able to recognize the gratitude and the forgiveness around us at a meta scale, personal, social, and then planetary, and then you might say all the way. This is a radical thing, but deep self-evolution is radical. And we're going to get to what that would actually mean. So the third thing that just happened today, when I asked God in my morning meditation, okay, radical forgiveness, radical gratitude, is there another radical coming here that I need to really incorporate? Yes, it was, and that's radical love. Not love because somebody is kind to you, nice to you, or gentle or sweet, or brilliant or great. Radical love. That's Jesus. I mean, this is, somebody said, Barbara, are you a Christian? And I actually am no particular religion, but there have been great beings in the history of humanity who have known this. And Jesus was one of them. And so not being a Christian, but being an evolutionary, I've embodied what was right so much as possible of all the great religious figures of the past. The Buddha was very different than the Christ. The Buddha had few desires. And Jesus was I'm going all the way to the Father. So there's to take both of them, hold both of those simultaneously. And then, of course, all the other great religions of the world. So radical love, let's feel that for a moment. What does that feel like? And what would block us from radically loving? What would really block us? I want to hear in the chat box, what would block you from radically loving? Tell me, I'm looking to the chats. Fear, yes. Fear would block you from radical love, yes. Believing you or others have to earn love. Oh, that's a big one, Charlene. I always feel I have to earn love, and I never have fully done it. I've never been up to people's standards. They have lots of reasons not to love. Ingrid says separation. Linda says low self-esteem. Feeling not worthy, rigidness, judgment. These are all very, very natural things that we all fear of rejection, not loving myself radically. Okay, so let's stop and make a choice to radically love all of it, despite, and just let them go. You know, Jesus on the cross, Father, forgive them. They know not what they do. Father, Mother, God, forgive us. We know not what we do, because we're the ones we have to forgive, and starting all the way through. Radical forgiveness. Wow, what does it feel like? What does it feel like, folks? I'm watching the panel here. What does it feel like to experience radical forgiveness, radical gratitude, and now radical love? Wow, liberating freedom, heartbreaking open, a fresh start, new eyes, ecstasy, extreme transformation. Saying we have to forgive ourselves first is huge for me, beautiful, whole, blessing, bliss. Look at how it feels. Radical forgiveness, radical gratitude, and radical love. Wow. Amazement, ascension, Susan says. Home, says Carla. Wow. Radiance, Cynthia. Catherine, intention to choose kindness, desire to be kind-minded could facilitate forgiveness and gratitude. Infinite peace, says Diana. Wow. And all of us who are doing the deep self-evolution, and all of us in humanity's team who are bringing this to the world, as Steve Farrell said last night, we're all at the point of that shift from the devolution of our species toward the evolution of our species. And he said, Barbara, the reason I feel now that we who feel this way can lead the way is because we have the new story. The story of the evolutionary process seen as an expression of spiritual evolutionary genius at the level of awesome reality, from the Big Bang to the quarks, the electrons, the protons, the neutrons, and then see this, feel inside yourself, which I like to call, I think, the best word currently for God is self-organizing universe. So now, after we have our gratitude, our forgiveness, our unconditional love, at least as a field, let's go into experiencing the new story from the point of view of our species at the shift point of evolution. Okay, so we're going into deep self-evolution very fast now. You know why? Because we're on the shift point, and there's no point in wasting any time at all. Now what we're going to look at is the wheel of co-creation. Now we're supposed, what, you know, in what we said we would do, you would become unique embodiments of the evolutionary impulse, giving you access to the whole self-organizing power of the universe and aligning you with its desire. So let's do that right now. Let's align ourselves from the origin of creation before the Big Bang with this incredible self-organizing universe, the impulse of evolution, organizing billions and billions, I mean, untold amount of architectural genius, all the way on up to here, about to self-organize planet Earth in a moment of a burst of glory of becoming whole, one, and possibility of the incredible genius of this joint. I mean, it's really, we are going to, as deep self-evolution, embody the impulse as the whole self-organizing power of the universe embodied as you. So let's take a moment to embody the impulse as you. Wow. I'd like to know how you feel when you go to the origin of creation and realize it took 13.7 billion years to get to you, and you have that impulse inside you in your own unique way. Everybody does. And we are saying we're going to embody it the whole way through deep self-evolution. I feel awe, says Kathy. Yes, awe is a perfect word for it. It's awesome. And you know what? You're awesome then. I mean, Beatrix says, recovering my anchor just to go forward and bless wholeness. Yes. And Beatrix, you see, as a member of the planetary body going through this, you're not doing this alone. You are embodying the impulse. If it can do it with quarks, it can certainly do it with us. In other words, whatever that self-organizing genius of that core of the spiral is, it has the genius of creating earth life, animal life, human life, and now what we're calling universal human life as we go up to the next turn on the spiral, or homo amore universalis, as we have been defining it recently. And then here's infinite potential. There's no limit to this. And you and I have been born at the exact moment of the shift point. It's not a plateau, it's a point. And every single impulse that you have inside yourself is affecting the point that you're on. Everything, not only your own point, but everybody else's. Wow. I mean, I have to say this for myself. I am not putting myself as somebody who can always do this. I can't, but at least I know it. So I'm declaring that through deep self-evolution together, in 8 weeks, we want to come out with this incarnation stabilized in us as ourselves. And what we're doing right here is we're communicating directly with the universe to ask questions and receive answers and guidance. Now let's just stop here. We have declared this radical forgiveness, radical guidance, radical love. We are expressions of the impulse of evolution. There's nothing else you could be. And I would say God, source, spirit is the internal self-organizing component of the genius of evolution inside of you. So let's get hold of this vision of ourselves to be capable of deep self-evolution, incarnating the evolutionary impulse of creation at the core of the spiral, where it comes through our hearts. And let that impulse come through your heart now. Wow. How does that feel? How does that feel to know it is actually you and it are one. It's creating you. You're expressing it. Wow. Conscious collaboration. Wow. That's right. That's right. Joining genius with God in the most ultimate sense of the word. Becoming one with the self-organizing universe. Saying yes to the creative potential. Wow. Caitlin says, I feel I could meditate for hours on that feeling. And before we get finished, we're going to talk about a meditative practice to help this happen. We're going to help each other through this deep self evolution. There's no way we can do this alone. Nobody can do this alone. Linda says synergistic co-creation. I think that's still the best description. Synergistic co-creation, joining separate parts to make a new whole with the whole process of creation as co-creators of it. So if you want to take a self-image, let's see us as deep self, evolutionary, expressing the impulse of creation as us, releasing from ourselves any things that we have not forgiven, just letting them all go. Releasing and activating in ourselves everything we have gratitude for. Accepting in ourselves that we are the voice of the impulse of evolution in us as our vocation, as our calling, as our essence, and feeling that this whole being that we are becoming is what happens when we have deep self evolution, deep self. We're communicating directly with the universe, asking it questions and receiving guidance. Now let's then go to that heart of the hub of the wheel for a moment, with all of this deep self coming through us, incarnating the impulse, forgiving, gratitude, love, and we're asking, what is my deepest heart's desire? Wow. Since I am, you are, we are a unique expression of the entire process of evolution coming alive on planet Earth in the exact moment of evolutionary breakdown or breakthrough point. We are the generation that the whole system has moved toward and in whom the whole system must have faith. Yes? We are the tip of the wave, Beatrix. Yes. We are the tip of the wave, and we are really feeling oneness with the entire wave that has brought us here. Wow. And this is accelerating our own evolution. This yes to the deepest impulse of evolution within each of us, expressing itself from within as our love of expression and giving our gift and expressing our creativity and becoming an exponent of our own genius of evolution. Wow. Charlotte from Tennessee, hello. Linda says, we're doing a SynCon with creation in love, forgiveness, and gratitude. You are wonderful, Linda, to say that. See, so I used to teach courses. It took like months to get up to jumping into this. But I think it's because we're all on the point of evolution. And the point is, it's not even just imminent, it's present. I am divine faith, strength, love, wisdom. Yes, Christine. And And here was the revelation from Sunday night's fireside chat. I have been declaring from my reading of Teilhard de Chardin that the planetary birth experience will happen, as he's pointed out, when the noosphere, or that is the thinking layer of Earth, and now the internet, gets its collective eyes. And as I was saying this, as I have many times before since I first discovered Teilhard in the late 1960s, I started to recognize and say, I am the noosphere. I am an eye of the noosphere. I am the voice of the noosphere. The noosphere is speaking as me. I'm not speaking about the noosphere anymore. I'm speaking as the noosphere. Yes, yes. Tell me what this means to you, that your word, your thought, your expression of your divine intent is the noosphere speaking. Wow. Susan says, Source is calling its parts back home to unity consciousness now. That's right. It's calling us back home and forward home, because we've never been here before collectively. Never. Never. Wow. Can you feel it now deep down inside yourself, to just take a moment to feel the impulse of the process of evolution from that original source, the mystery of that Big Bang, the mystery of that flaring forth inside of you. And feel the impulse of that evolutionary genius of evolution itself, the quarks, the electrons, the protons, the neutrons, being attracted together to form something that nothing had ever seen before as far as this planet goes, as far as this sequence on planet Earth goes, forming molecules and cells. Wow. That was enormously creative, the formation of cells. And of course, the billions of galaxies and the hydrogen out there, and the fact that the universe itself was exploding with what they say billions of galaxies. It's beyond belief, beyond belief. All of that is what it took to get this little sequence on Earth, the first cells, the multi-cells, the animals, the human on planet Earth. That's a teeny weeny part of what the universe is up to, but it's our part. And it's huge for us, and we're it. And yet each individual as it is holding the whole within ourselves. Breathe into it. Deep self-evolution, holding the whole of creation as it manifests specifically as you. Wow. It's an awesome privilege to realize this. Wow. The kingdom of God is starting to manifest here in Earth at a different level. Yes, Beatrix. Judy says the noosphere is the thinking level which will join together according to Teilhard, but it is love. Yes, of course it is love. And what he said, that he believed that when the noosphere got its collective eyes, it would be the Christification of the earth. Now, he spoke as a Jesuit. And as a Jesuit, he just called it the Christification of the earth, and we might be calling it a planetary awakening in love, or a cosmic birth experience, or an awakening of humanity, however we wish to say it. But it is true, no matter what the pain, the suffering, and the separation that we have undergone because of an illusion of separateness that seems to be intrinsic to Homo sapiens sapiens. This is one reason why I am suggesting and declaring and experiencing that a new species is coming upon this earth to realize this. That let's take a moment for all of us to imagine we are the new species. Very not young, very new. Homo sapiens wasn't very much to look at the time of Neanderthal, but there's no reason to assume that evolution stops here with us. This is it. Oh, 13.7 billion years ends up with Homo sapiens sapiens like us. No, for sure not. So let's say we're crossing over into this species has been given many different names. And the one that we're using currently that I like the most is Homo amor, Homo amore universalis. Let's just sink into that for a moment. As we're imagining the planetary awakening with Teilhard's experience of the noosphere getting its collective eyes, and us being the noosphere, getting our collective eyes. In other words, it's not about the noosphere. We are the thinking layer of Earth on internet in this exact moment, affecting the planetary and perhaps universal system. Because how else does any of it get affected? By what people do. Wow. So somebody says, I'm not fully getting all that you are saying. Will this be my outcome of the course? That's Michelle. I don't know, Michelle. You just have to listen for a while. What you would be getting out of this course is that you yourself are a personal expression of the deep self of evolution. That's what you would be getting. This is not like fixing something up or getting a little better at this or that. It is that you are becoming that impulse of evolution as you see that impulse? It incarnated in early humans, and this, it's coming around now. We have the power of self-destruction. We have the power of self-creativity. And this deep self-evolution is taking you across the threshold, and you have to step across yourself if you are open to it. So the outcome of this course is completely up to you, Michelle. But we welcome you. And if you have any specific question that would help you, please ask it. Please ask it, Michelle. Wow. What I understand to be the qualities of Homo amore universalis. And I'm making the radical statement that a new species is being born out of Homo sapiens sapiens. And that this new species has been cropping up in earlier days through the great saints and avatars of the human species. But now they all said, it's up to you. Nobody said, I'm going to do it all for you, not one of them. So I am suggesting that they were right. They set the frequency for us, but because the point of evolution or devolution is in our lifetime, we are actually, I would say, the most fortunate species in the history of humanity because we're aware of this. We have evolutionary eyes. We can see the enormous story. We didn't know this till the 1960s. And then what we got was that it counts that everybody is included to say yes to your part of the innovations and the global creativity and wherever you fit in the wheel. And we'll talk about all of this in detail. This is just an introduction to deep self-evolution tonight. Wow. And it's also to arouse us. So I want to continue with this idea, the noosphere, the thinking layer of Earth, which Teilhard wrote about before the internet, is now the internet. And we are connected globally as a planetary organism faster and faster every day at a quantum level, almost an instantaneous thought, and the other side of the planet gets it. That's radically new. We have to realize what we're dealing with here. So if we're saying that this noosphere, when it gets its collective eyes, will lead to the planetary love or cosmic birth, and then we realize, oh, we are the noosphere getting its eyes. My eyes are the eyes of the noosphere. I am the voice of the noosphere. You are all, so if you so choose to be, a voice of the planetary noosphere or thinking layer of Earth. What else would you be? Are you part of the thinking layer of Earth? Are you thinking? Yes, you are. Wow. So part of the deep self evolution is an awesome self-recognition of what it means to be self. If your self is an expression of that process of creation becoming incarnated as you, there's never been a time in history that any large group of people could feel this. Wow. See, everybody now, you're just wonderful, realizing now when you write what you write, let you be writing as the noosphere. So Katerina says, "Dear Barbara, I will have to leave the call shortly. I am looking forward to asking you for your guidance to help me figure out my vocation." Okay, Katerina. "I changed careers from computer science to health. I am studying kinesthesiology. I'm experiencing so many blocks, both externally and internally, that I'm confused whether to continue the path of kinesthesiology. I'm quite heavily burdened at the present time. However, the study has led me to find humanities team and you." Well, that's at least quite amazing of your study. "I absolutely feel that what you say is true. For the last few years, I've been feeling drawn to heaven here on earth, but not knowing how it can happen. And then I found humanities team." Well, thank you, my beloved friend. Thank you. One of the greatest things that we will all be exploring here is the nature of vocation, the nature of your unique calling, and it's really not easy. And I will be saying starting in next week, we're going to start the deepest possible journal writing. And I'd say this to you, Katrina, as a very first step. It's not an answer, but it's a method. Then I'll get back to Homo Universalis. But Katrina has to leave. Here's what the journal writing practice is that has helped me. I would say without it, I could not be here. It has these elements. Element number one is you have your journal with you and you do some type of meditation that quiets your mind, whether it be TM or deep breathing or whatever works for you, so that you can feel the mental mind stopping. And you're getting in touch with that deep source of being that's in each of us. That's number one. Number two, without stopping or without losing that deep source, just allow it to feel deep in every part of your body. And then just let the mental mind ask a question or reveal an anxiety that you're feeling in that moment that you don't know how to respond to, but you write it as seeking a response. If it's a question or an incident that has hurt you, or what you're saying, Katrina, what is my vocation? Let's leave it there. Then what you do, I do, and you can do whatever works for you, I do double quotation marks because in comes what I call dearly beloved. Now, dearly beloved is each of our own inner voice that comes direct from the impulse. It's not mental mind. It's not figuring it out. It's source knowing. It's impulsive creation, direct expressing. It's spirit articulating. It's not channeled writing. It's not from some other being. It's from you. And deep down in that deep self, what I do is ask the question. If you ask a big one, what is my vocation? You might even have a few smaller ones, Katrina. I tried this, it doesn't seem to be that. Could it be this? In other words, you could make intelligent questions. But let's say you want to jump into the deepest question. Are you still with me, Catherine? Where is she gone? Are you there, Catherine? Oops. No, I think she might. I don't know if she's gone. Here she is, Katerina. So don't go yet, Katerina. I would like you to be one of us to try this out, as everybody is going to be given this as an opportunity, is that you choose during the 8 weeks of this course to do this every day. Because that's a small commitment. It could take you maybe 20 minutes or half an hour at the most. But create a sacred space, Katerina, and have a journal that you could call your evolutionary journal. And have a sense of expectations, and you're not figuring anything out because you don't know the answer. And you sit there with your journal and do whatever quiets your mind. I do about 10, 15 minutes of TM. And what I'm noticing after the 10 or 15 minutes of TM, that I'm flooded because I've been doing radical gratitude, radical forgiveness, and radical love. So suddenly, this is just for me because I've been practicing this. I felt this morning like just overflowing with love coming through me. But I stayed in the mental mind. But the love was there, and I knew it was different because I've been doing these exercises. And so I said, what should I do for deep self-evolution? Mental mind. Well, I didn't think at all. And basically I got is don't think, Barbara. Yes, you can take notes, and I do have notes, but I realize you are the noosphere speaking. Just allow. That's what I'm doing now. Maybe not as coherent as I could be if it's all lined up, but it'll all work out. And so, Katerina, I'm asking you to try that in terms of your vocation, to set yourself, if you really choose to do this, you have 8 weeks and you have 7 days per week, and you do it at least half an hour a day. Because if you want to probe something this deep, you can't figure it out. It's too deep to be figured out. So my guidance is, Katerina, do not figure it out. And the fact that you are a computer scientist and in health and in kinesiology are obviously very intellectually brilliant. And the more intellectual you are, the more blocks you can express. Because intellectually, you will not figure it out. And TM is Transcendental Meditation, in case anybody wants. It's what Maharishi gave us. It's a very common thing that you have a little mantra, and you simply repeat the mantra without thinking. And they suggest you do it 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes in the evening. And I did take it from the Maharishi's Institute, and I haven't done it a lot of time, but I started to do it again. So it's the meditation that quiets your mind. Use TM if you like, or some other meditation. Then just, allow your mental mind to do whatever it does. It's asking, Katrina, what's my vocation? I haven't figured it out. I want to figure it out. Fine. Just stop then at a certain point and do double quotation marks and find a particular phrase. Mine is, dearly beloved, tell me the right way. And I don't think. And it's not that I channel. It's not that somebody else is doing this. It's deeper mind knows. And I would say what I have learned from all this time of writing my journal, and I have now 204 volumes since the age of 18. I mean, I'm a very big practitioner of journal writing, that I have everything that I've ever known has come through that way. It's an absolutely wonderful 8 weeks that we have. Here's Katrina says, thank you so much for taking this time. Thank you, Barbara and everyone. We love you, Katrina. One of the things that we're on for is each other. Yes, and I was going to do this meditation a little bit later, but let's take it now just for a moment. And with you, Katrina, let's take a few minutes right now. This, Katrina, all of us, everybody has a deep question. So go into a question that's very deep for you right now that you might not have been able to solve so far. Katrina's vocation, I'm sure everybody has a question. When you get home, you can try it with your journal. Write down your question. And let your mental mind just describe the question. Describe what you don't know about it. I can't figure this out, but here's the situation, you know? Let your mental mind be brilliant and just extract. I mean, I tried everything and it didn't work. Whatever it is. And then do marking in your journal. You're going to hear from a deeper voice. That's why I do double quotation marks. And then ask, dearly beloved, what is your response? It's not, well, how can I figure it out? And don't think. You're not channeling, you're accessing. Another way of saying it is 0 point energy, the quantum field. You're accessing the quantum field. It's the field that created the entire story of creation. It's the inside of the evolutionary genius in you. You already are a genius with trillions of cells organized in you, and you're not even having to pay attention to any single one of them. Look at that. So, Katerina and everybody, deep question. So I would assign that in our journal writing, everyone starts out with some time of quieting the mind. Have your journal in your lap. Be in a protected space, whether it's in bed early in the morning or a special chair, but you're not to allow anybody else to be walking through and saying hi there, or the phone to ring and you're answering it. You might have, like I had when I tried this, I have what I call a local self that's always telling me, well, Barbara, you should be busy doing your work. Why are you doing this? In other words, you might have a critical self. You might have a critical self, Katerina, who says, well, I don't, you know, don't let the critical self block your attention. Just say, thank you very much, but not right now. Because this is the sacred space when you are setting aside the local self and its concerns to allow the deeper self through, and it's a sacred space. You've got to create a sacred space. And I think what we need to do now is have a moment of shared prayer for each of us on evolutionary deep self awakening. That this 8 weeks be for every person a revelation of who you are and who we are together. And may we be guided by the self-organizing genius of this universe, that everybody who is on this course discovers the deepest impulse of their spirituality and their vocation. And our celebration in 8 weeks will be that, who we all are. So this, I thank everybody. I'm very excited about what's going to happen to us in 8 weeks. And this is an opportunity to say to yourself, everything that I yearn to give is going to be revealed to me this 8 weeks. Everything that I need to give, my deepest gifts will be revealed to me and to each other. And I will come forth out of this with a deeper knowing of my own next step. For this, I give great thanks, everybody, and say good night to you.